Unfortunately, my computer would not go out of S mode or something. I'm using a temporary computer because mine's in the shop. So I'm having to use another one. But I'm doing comprehension, and I also have my PowerPoint here for me to use. I would try to just flip them back and forth. I apologize for the inconvenience of this. But I'm using a borrower, so I'm going to try to record on my iPad and show my video from here. Okay. Comprehension monitoring. It occurs when the reader reflects on his or her own understanding. It can be started early, 3 or 4 years. What, how, and how young are the questions that are focused on them. When it comes to comprehension monitoring, we have to reflect on words. It's something that I really enjoy doing. I think I learned how, it's kind of reminded me of context clues. I started using that around I was around 3rd, 4th grade. We start using context clues. You use the words around it. As you get older, those skills better develop. I know me, if I hear a word that I'm very unfamiliar with, the first thing I do is I try to go look that word up and I see how I can use it in my vocabulary. And when the opportunity presents itself, I love to go back and try to use that word. As a kid, I love learning new words. I try to incorporate that in my teaching. I try to use a different word each and every day for my kids, and I try to I'm hoping that they will use that and it would help them. Kids can start this really early. As a kid, you hear your mom say, "Where are you?" But Mom, what does that mean? Or you hear the words around it. The other word I used the other day with the kids, I was like, we don't behave that way. He was showing some combative behavior. And the kids, first I said it, and then I said it again, and it was like, what does combative mean? And I broke it down. I was like, let's do some comprehension monitoring. Let's look at the words around that, and we can find out what it means by looking at what I said in that. I was like, how was his behavior? What was he doing at that time? So that helped them to understand the monitoring. Another stage is development of knowledge in text structure. The form of text that we're reading, this varies as person get older. As you get older, you don't use words like you used to. You don't use simple he, she, basic words. One thing that really shocked me as I got older is using the second person you. You is not used that much in formal text. As we get older, you will see that they will say, instead of using you, they will say the one, that one over there, instead of saying the you or whatever. As we get older, the development of our text structure gets better. We start breaking things down. We are more aware of how the text is. We look at the coding. We look at the nouns and the coding of the word. We look at the noun and the verb and how they're used, and then we start using more compounding sentences and more structured sentences, and we don't use those basic simple sentences that we used when we were younger. Oh, my favorite, making inferences. What could happen next? Has to make logical inferences. Inferences are supported by the text, but they can go beyond the information that is stated explicitly. That is very true. I try to, if I read a book, I try to have the kids, I will stop and I'll be like, so what do y'all think will happen tomorrow? I will sometimes stop 10 minutes before the class is over, and I'll make them make an inference of what they think will happen. Sometimes we have stories and we don't have an ending, so you have to kind of there are a lot of stories that, they kind of cut you off and they just leave you with the hanger, and you're like, well, what will happen next? And as we get older and things changes, we are better making inferences. When you're a kid and you'll see the thing, something happen, you're like, well, they maybe just died or they fell. But as you get older, you start to realize and think things more thoroughly into that. You start thinking well, maybe he done this because this happened and that happened, and that happens as we get older, and those things develop more as we gain more comprehension and knowledge of different things like that. So let's put it all together. So how does it all go together? So emphasis, we enable integration of information to the mental model. We are using, things that we have learned in the past of situations or books or things, life even like situation that happened in our own life, we put all of that and we can make inferences on what we assume will happen next, or what we assume going to happen in the next chapter if we haven't got to read to it. We have gained knowledge and we have learned those things, and we put all that into our mental model and we make inferences based off that. It's kind of like a prediction, you know, estimation. You make a good estimation. Vocabulary and background knowledge support comprehension in general, inferences in particular. They're learned from a text. We learn basically what they're saying is the vocabulary and background knowledge that we have gained. We learn that through the text that we have read. And the more text we read, the better we become skilled readers and able to comprehend and read better. Grammar and cohesive ties enables integration of meaning between clauses and sentences. That goes back to decoding. All these things go into good reading and comprehension of being able to read. Because if you're not comprehending what you're reading, then basically you just didn't read anything. I know there's several times where I would read something and I was like, I just do not know what I read. There was a time a teacher had told me when I was like in 9th grade, told her, I was like, well, I read that story. She was like, okay, you read it, but you didn't comprehend it. And I was like, what is she talking about? If I read it, how could I not have comprehended? But since I've gotten older, I've caught myself many times reading things and actually going back like, what the heck did I just read? I have no comprehension, no retainment of anything I just read. I don't even know what I just read. Text structure provides a framework for the mental model, can support inferences, making, and learning from the text. The structure of the text is very important. You want to know. I mean, because for one, if it's a fairy tale, then you make your inferences off. Oh well, you know, they're just gonna make a wish and everything's gonna be good. But if it's a real life story, or if it's a autobiography or a biography or something that actually based on a true story, then you can't just make predictions like that, because you have to make them more realistic. And as you get older, those realistic things will type of change, and you will learn that different language, and you will become smarter and more knowledgeable. Comprehension monitoring enables the reader to identify when comprehension has failed. So if, let's say, they purposely misspell a word or they put something in that throws you off, that comprehension monitoring that you have gained for many years will help you to know, like, hey, that doesn't fit, or hey, they're trying to throw us off with that word. So you have gained that knowledge, and you're able to better equip yourself to learn and to know different things like that. And last but not least, our works cited, which I have got everything from our book. Once again, I apologize for the inconvenience. It's just with this quarantine and isolation and things just going wrong. I just had to get a borrow laptop, and I have to use my iPad. So thank you.